Oh.
Hello everyone, it's Judy here at Janet's Floral Design, and today's daily dive is about how to water your hanging baskets so they last all summer. And now that many of you have gotten baskets for Mother's Day, we kind of postponed this one. We were going to do it last week, but we decided to wait until after all of you got hanging baskets for Mother's Day, just so we could talk a little bit more about their care. So we will do the one today about watering, and then a little bit later in the week we'll talk about food, because in order for a plant to do well, they need the right light, the right kind of water, the right amount of fertilizer, and then actually some pruning. So the same kind of things that we actually need to grow and thrive. So I'm going to talk about watering today, and some of the basics of watering a basket are, in our opinion, the first thing is that you water in the morning. And we really recommend the watering in the morning simply because you want your basket to reach its driest point in the middle of the night, not in the middle of the day when the sun's beating down on it. If you're checking it at night or in the evening, and you water then it's going to reach its driest point at 2, 3 in the afternoon when the sun's beating on it, and that stresses your plant out more. So we think that checking in the morning helps the plant and watering in the morning gives it what it needs for that hot day. Now, we haven't had much of that lately, but I hope that it's coming soon. So, but having said that, the way that you water in the conditions that we're having right now is definitely different than the way that you water coming in, 2 or 3 weeks when it gets warm. So right now, it's important that you don't overwater, especially on things like begonias, even geraniums, and some of those more shade plants, impatiens. They do not like to be overwatered. So the best thing to do, and I'm going to show you, the best thing to do is to check the soil. You should check daily, but right now you are not going to be watering daily. So you can see the dirt, you can see how it sticks together. Hopefully you can hear that squishing sound, and that tells you that it has plenty of moisture. This basket does not need water. Begonias have thick stems. You can see that really thick stem there, and it holds water, so it tends to tolerate being more dry. Not like a succulent, but still it is more of a dry plant, and the same would be true with an impatient. It tends to lean towards being dry more than wanting to be sopping wet. And none of them want to be sopping wet all the time. They all need that period of drying out. So this basket doesn't need any water. We're going to look at this begonia basket. Slightly different type of begonia, but now you can see this soil. It's powdery, it's light, falling apart, doesn't stick together very well when I squeeze it, and it certainly isn't going to be squishy, or you won't hear that squishing sound. So this is a basket that does need water. And if it was mine, I probably would wait till tomorrow morning, simply because it doesn't need the water to get through the night. But just for the sake of demonstrating watering, I'm going to go ahead and water it. So you don't have to water the foliage. The foliage isn't what needs the water. What needs the water are the roots. So you lift the foliage and you water the dirt. And I'm not going to water this maybe as much as I would normally, just because it's so chilly. It doesn't need the same amount of water as it would on an 80-degree day. And it actually went clear through to the other side for the most part, so we'll give it a little bit more. Normally I would say you should water a basket until it comes out the bottom. I just don't think that's necessary for this begonia. So we're going to look at the petunia. Petunias require more water than a begonia. Petunias are also a sun plant, so because of that, they're going to be out in the sun. Of course, begonias are a shade, so they're not going to get as much sun. So even in the heat of the summer, you may not have to water it every day. You should check every day, but you may not have to water every day. This, however, will require water every day when temperatures are 70, 75, 80, especially if it's sunny. Now in weather like this, it probably won't require water every day. But again, checking every day is important. I deliberately chose this basket because this soil is super dry. There's no question that this basket needs water. And it must have been hiding out because, or waiting for my video because it didn't get watered today. But again, the way that I would water this, you don't want to water in the middle. That's really the temptation. Just jam it in there and water. If you water in the center, you'll create a hole in the middle. And you want a basket that's nice and full and pretty on the outside as well as in the middle. Jamming it in the middle will create a hole there. So to prevent that, you're going to lift again the foliage and you're going to water the basket. And this one needs quite a bit more water actually than the other one. And so normally on a basket like this, if I had better water pressure, which for some reason I'm not getting the best pressure right at the moment, I would hold it to a count of 25 or 30 so that it really would come out the bottom. This one was so dry that it needs that water all the way through. If you only water it a little bit and it doesn't come out the bottom, then all the roots aren't getting the moisture to help it survive on a hot day. On days like this, it probably would be okay if I didn't do that. You can also see as I'm watering that I'm turning the plant. So I'm not watering it solely on this side. I've rotated so that I'm giving it water at least on 2 sides, but preferably on 3, especially on a 12-inch basket. And we haven't quite gotten there yet, but I'm going to go ahead and stop. And we'll see, maybe by the time we're done, the water will actually start coming out the bottom. This is a pouch, and this pouch is filled with impatiens. Again, a shade plant. I don't really have any pouches for the sun, just part sun. And pouches can be a little bit of a different thing to water, but the way that I find best is to put my hand down at the bottom and put the hose up here at the top and let the water run down. This one is, I'll show you the soil of this one. I don't know if it's gonna, it doesn't need water. I don't know if the soil's gonna, oh yeah. It's squishy and holds together. So this one is not one that would need water right now. This is a cone basket, and one of the really nice baskets that we have, and there's still a few of these available. And the water in this cone basket tends to come out right away, or at least pretty early as you start to water it. So you're probably going to have to let it run out for a little while before it has enough, because if you stop as soon as it starts running out, it may not have enough. So again, you're just checking the dirt to see if it needs water. You can see it holding together and again squishing, so it's not one that needs water. So the main point is check in the morning, see if that soil is squishy, if you can hear that moisture content in there. If so, it's good for the day. You don't need to water. If it's dry and or not holding together very well and it's going to be in the sun, then you should water it. In most baskets in the summertime, or when it gets sunny out, with temperatures above 70, again, you probably would have to water every day in the morning. One of the other reasons that we don't tend to water at night, especially right now when it's so cool, is that that can breed disease or bring on disease, bring on mildew, bring on just some other diseases that tend to happen when it's damp out. So by watering in the morning, it gives time for it to dry out before the cool night, middle of the night, middle of the evening, when it just really gets cold. So again, morning is best, and water till it comes out the bottom. And those are some of the basics, and if it doesn't need it, don't give it. because that will promote rotting, especially in begonias and impatiens, and even other plants like lobelia. Lobelia can rot if it's too wet, and it'll give the appearance of wilting like it's dry, but it's actually too wet. So you really need to check the soil, not just the condition of the plant. So I hope that helps. Were there any questions, Mackenzie? No? Okay. Well, we will see you back here tomorrow. I'm really excited. One of the items that we ordered early on, and we've been waiting since January for these, has finally arrived, so I can't wait to show that to you tomorrow. Have a good evening, and hopefully we'll see you out sometime this week. Have a good day. Bye.